Good evening, school board and central office staff. Weren't Mariah and Karina outstanding? That's why they're the president of both organizations. I want to thank Zach and Claudia for their presentation as well. They did a bang-up job. Mariah and Karina are two outstanding students that are definitely ambassadors of our school, sharing with you tonight many examples of our motto, Central Can. We have had many things celebrate this year and many more celebrations to come in the next 6 weeks. I truly appreciate you giving two of our student leaders an opportunity to visit with you tonight. I went back and forth as I thought about my presentation tonight. I was given direction to focus on points of pride. It was shared with me that the board wanted data shared regarding our school year. It was shared that I should create a slideshow that would go along with my presentation. All of this was doable and actually easy, yet it was not what I really thought should be shared, and I continued to think about doing something else. I've been a teacher, an assistant principal, a campus principal for SAISD for 32 years. This district is the only district I have ever worked for. Between my wife, Jody, my kids, Jordan and Wyatt, and I, the Waters family have experienced 3 elementaries, all 4 junior highs and middle schools. I was at Edison, and both high schools. I have poured my whole entire career up to this point into SAISD. Because of this experience, I have been given respect for my seniority. I don't take that respect lightly. Because of my seniority and I hope proven ability, quite often my voice has been heard and my thoughts listened to. It is because of this respect for my years with the district, having been through the ups and downs of SAISD, and most recently and importantly, the last 2+ years of the pandemic, that I am taking some liberties with my presentation tonight. I will not share points of pride. Mariah and Karina did that for me and did a great job. I have no data to share, nor slides to go along with my words. Making this decision to use this opportunity to speak openly to the board and all key figures of central office was not taken lightly. My respect for each of you and each of your positions should by now be understood. In preparing for tonight, I kept coming back to the fact that if I didn't say what has been on my mind formulated over the last 2 years, I would regret it. Tonight is something I felt I had to do. I shared with my staff that I, until recently, viewed my career as 2 phases, teaching and administrative years. But that has changed. I now view my career as pre-COVID and post-COVID. I call this year not my 32nd year, but year 2. Year 1 of COVID, we were reactionary. We had to be. We were in uncharted territory and needed to survive and do the things to carry on. We made on-the-spot decisions and did the best we could and made it through. Year 2 brought hope that we could do what we used to do, the way we used to do it, and we believed that we could return to normal. I believe that school will never be like it was prior to March of 2020. It has changed, and we have to make changes with it. This year, we have learned that many students struggle just to be students. We have seen an increase in mischief behavior and a decrease in grade level maturity. Isolation, virtual instruction, and family strife have all contributed to added challenges that are on the plates of all of our schools. There is an increase in the number of students dealing with mental health issues. Unfortunately, we only know the tip of that iceberg, since all I can talk about are those that are willing to share what they are going through. In a recent RAND survey, schools and school districts stated that addressing mental health needs of both students and staff ranked higher than student engagement, student attendance, and declining enrollment. The learning gaps that have been created since March of 2020 have been a challenge to overcome as we continue to run schools the same way without addressing a way to meet those needs. Higher failure rates, lower test scores, and a decrease in participation and performance in advanced academics are concerns that affect graduation rates, dropout rates, and the college-bound student. Real and meaningful solutions to these realities are hard to come by in our current status. The retention of teachers and the recruiting of teachers is an ever-growing concern. In the last several years, as we have looked to tackle district challenges, the demands on the teacher have drastically increased. We cannot continue to ask that it needs to be done outside the workday. The day-to-day demands on teachers to meet, prepare, design, engage, contact, and serve has reached a breaking point. Teachers are struggling to get things accomplished at all levels, yet we continue to expect it. As it is true with students, it is true with teachers and staff. Mental health issues are an issue for school staff. I have spent many hours this year, much more than ever before, talking to my staff about their personal and job-related issues and a struggle to find the balance. For the first time in my career, I had teachers quit in the middle of a year because they thought they had a better opportunity elsewhere that they felt would be better for their health and well-being. Other staff are leaving the profession to retirement or a better opportunity. Attendance rates of staff are affected, and we see teachers taking more days to get what they call a break from the day-to-day. I have begun to have conversations with prospective teachers and staff over the last week or so. Some, and I anticipate more, have asked questions regarding our school calendar, district pay raises, and incentive pay, because school districts are announcing almost weekly changes in their districts that are ways to entice and recruit. The cost of living in San Angelo, which was a recruiting tool, is no longer that. With the increase in the housing market, the strain on gas, food, and daycare, we have to create other selling points to recruit prospective staff. Public opinion and support for our school district and staff has taken a hit, with issues attacked by state and national politics and special interest groups. At the height of the pandemic, teachers were placed on a pedestal. No one wanted to teach their own kids, and the value of what we do was at an all-time high. I believe we have a ton of support in the community of San Angelo, but unfortunately, and quite often, we only hear the negative. It is sad that a teacher has to keep a positive folder where they place cards and emails to remind them that there are those out there that think they do a great job. They do this because when the negative comes these days, it can be more harsh and disrespectful than ever before. We need to create connections in our community to celebrate our schools and our school district and our employees to create a larger sense of appreciation. I was taught many years ago that if you're going to point out issues of concern, it's a good idea to also bring possible solutions. Let me recap what I've stated so far. I believe that we need to address the following areas: time, pay and compensation, mental health of both staff and students, and a community connection. Time. Time has to be addressed next year. Every year, staff asks for more time to get it all done. We need to address this in our school calendar. This is more critical than ever. Schools need time to meet, plan, design, and prepare. We need time to make the calls and have the meetings. We need an opportunity to create remedial plans for kids to address gaps, state testing needs, and student failure. The time has to be given in the form of a staff-only no kids day or early release days built into our calendar. Other school districts have gone to 4-day weeks. This plan does require a change in bell schedule and potentially a longer school year, but the benefits, I believe, outweigh any negative. Pay. We need to be competitive with other districts as well, as best we can. We need to make decisions now on a pay raise for next year and include compensation for remaining an employee. Other districts have already announced pay raises and compensation plans for next school year. A district that we struggle to compete with their pay because of the oil field just announced a pay increase for both current and new staff for next year. I have lost teachers to that district and have 1 or 2 prospective staff right now deciding between us and them. In addition, we have to pay staff for the extra. Asking staff to do the extra is hard to do these days with all the challenges that they face and their families face. We need to recognize that they are giving of their time and create additional stipends to do this. A concern expressed by existing staff and prospective staff is childcare. Is there a way to create childcare options for our staff by looking at existing sites or creating a site? Mental health. What are we doing to address the mental health needs of our students? Our counselors already have a full load, and the increased needs of our kids cannot be added to our counselors. We have to look at what is being done elsewhere and create something here. We need awareness, information, and then we need on-site support for our kids. What are we doing to address the mental health of our staff and teachers? Can we add any support in our health benefits that allow a certain number of visits to an outside counselor? Or can we add something that significantly reduces that cost? Our staff needs support. Community connection. We need to work on a stronger community connection that provides for staff. We do things for new staff at the beginning of the year, but what about all year? Discounts at restaurants, gyms, and other businesses. Businesses hosting staff and district appreciation events periodically throughout the year. And letting schools and staff know how they are appreciated by asking local businesses to encourage their employees to reach out and thank a teacher. We need the positive majority that supports schools to stand up and be heard. To conclude, on my way home yesterday from Shreveport, Louisiana, in a 6.5-hour drive, where my newlywed daughter and her husband moved to, I continued to think about this moment right now. Along the drive, I always listen to the radio, and the song The Best of Times by Styx was played. The title resonated with me because the truth is that we, schools, teachers, staff, and administrators will continue to produce the best of times, even in the worst of times, as we did the last 2 years as we navigated the unknown water of the pandemic. We will continue to break our backs to help kids. We'll spend our own money to help them achieve. We'll continue to devote time and effort to make it happen because we want our kids to excel and shine at what we believe are great schools. But should we continue to do this, and will our staff continue to do this, there is no other profession that has these expectations without the support in the form of time, benefits, and compensation. As the times continue to change, young people are not flocking to be a teacher, and current teachers are looking at other options, including not being a teacher. How much longer can we operate at a high level with a pre-COVID mindset? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waters.